Hello everyone, I'm Blue Carswell and welcome back to another episode of I Don't Have Any Cars to Film. Now I do promise that car videos will make a return very shortly. I just need to pull my finger out, but for the time being I thought I'd do this video. I'd take you behind the scenes and I'd show you what goes into making one of my YouTube videos. It's a little bit interesting, hopefully you guys will find it interesting, and actually for me it is good practice as I do need to keep up to date with talking to camera. The longer I go without doing it, I then feel awkward and it doesn't become as natural as it once was. So yeah, with all that being said, let's crack on. Now really, I should have started this video here while sat at my desk in my rather unpicturesque bedroom with my fan going in the background. I can only apologise if you can hear that, but it is about 30 million degrees today, so I am somewhat melting. But yeah, any good video I think starts here at my desk with the correct prep and some good research. Now it's going to sound pretty obvious, but doing those two things mean that the filming is much easier and much more streamlined, and then as a result of the filming being much more streamlined, the editing is also an easier process to complete. And obviously as a one-man band, any streamlining of the process is much welcomed. Now it probably goes without saying, and you could probably guess this, but the amount of research and prep does vary massively depending on the video. On a very basic level, sitting here, I'll be looking at the video or thinking about the video and thinking about what it is I want to say and the sort of points I want to get across. Moving slightly up from that, I will then also start thinking about the kind of shots I want to get, where I'm going to position the camera for those shots, etc, etc. An example of that can be seen in this video. I chose to shoot the intro outside next to my car opposed to in here, and that is because I thought if somebody clicked onto a video and it was just me sat in my bedroom with some old t-shirts hung up, they'd be more likely to click away than if I was sat next to my car, stood next to my car rather. Now moving up from there, the videos which I'd class as my proper reviews or actual reviews, they obviously require a lot more research, especially if it is a car I've been lent by a manufacturer, because obviously I want to do a good job and I also don't want to get anything wrong. Have you ever been watching a video and somebody gets a simple fact right? Well, when I watch a video and somebody gets something very basic wrong, I tend to just click away. What's the point in watching on if they can't even be bothered to get the basics right? I know I can't really trust their opinion, or I probably could, but you know, it kind of puts me off trusting their opinion because they haven't done their research beforehand, so why should I then trust their opinion? Might be a little bit harsh of me. But yeah, when I've got a manufacturer's car in especially, I will spend a lot of time sat here going through the press packs, going through the internet and making sure I've got my facts right and making sure what I'm going to say is absolutely correct. I'd never want to say anything on the camera that was wrong just because I was ignorant and didn't look it up. There are some excuses, especially when I'm filming somebody else's car. Sometimes with those the owners know more than I do, so I'll just ask them and then I'll put it in voiceover. But yeah, you get the idea. Now one thing I do think I need to probably start doing when I'm at my desk and when I'm planning these videos is trying to find more suitable locations to film. Now as you've probably noticed by now if you watched a few of my videos, they're all filmed in pretty much the same place. Now there is a reason for that, and that reason is that basically as a place to film it works. It's not necessarily that busy up there, which is good because people walking past whilst you're filming isn't good, and also it's just down the road basically from the films I like, from the roads I like to film my driving impressions on. So it kind of saves time in that aspect, but I am aware I could probably find a better location, and that's something I'm aware I should probably start doing during this preparation phase. But regardless of that, what are the biggest advantages of all of this planning? Well, as I've already hinted at, it is all about streamlining the process, and it means that when I turn up to film, I know exactly what it is I want to do, and that means that I can go from here in my bedroom to here, which is where I normally film my intros. I then might make a point about the spec from here, and I'll then say something while walking alongside the car, before moving around the back and then talking about the boot. Yeah, I never really like those boot shots. They always feel very contrived and like I have to include them, but I guess in a proper review people do want to see the boot. It's just that in my opinion it doesn't come across very well on camera, and actually 500 litres, me telling somebody there's 500 litres of boot space, what does that mean? Is it this much or is it this much? But anyway, whilst I finish my walk along the side of the car, and you will note this camera is in exactly the same place as it was for the shot when I was walking alongside the car. That is because I've not filmed the boot yet, I'll be doing that next. I just want to talk about something that I do get some comments on, and that is scripting. Now, obviously for some of my longer videos, and this one for example, when I'm planning it I do put quite a lot of time into writing a script of sort of what it is things I want to say. With my shorter videos though, and my sort of more vloggy style videos, I'm more likely to just have a bullet point list of points I want to make, and I'll then go off the cuff to try and join them together. One thing I never do though with any of my videos, regardless of whether I've scripted it to the sort of point or to the extreme, is follow it word for word. Now the reason for this, and I should probably just disclaim that I'm not a professional and this is personal preference, is because when I'm watching YouTube videos and the presenter is following a script word for word, I find them a little bit dull and a little bit less engaging. The problem I find is that when a presenter's too busy trying to do a text-to-speech perfect rendition of what's been written down, is they can't get their personality across, and I as a viewer are therefore less engaged. So with my videos I try to not follow it word for word. I'd say it's probably about 60-70% of what I say will be to the script, but when I say that, 60-70% of my to the script words or speaking won't actually be a perfect rendition of what I've wrote down. As long as I say similar points in a similar way, I tend to be happy and I'll use that take. Another thing I never do with my videos is write a script in a way that isn't conversational. Again, this goes back to personal preference, but I feel that the script should be conversational. I feel like I should be conversational while talking to you guys and not like I'm in a business meeting. Again, it just goes down to engagement and how I prefer to watch videos. So after I've done my bits to camera, it will be then time to capture some B-roll. Now I do just want to say that in the clips you can see on screen now, I am using the gimbal that I'm holding for the first time, so I'm not really sure what I'm doing with it, which is why I look a bit nervous with it. So yeah, please don't critique my technique too much. I am self-taught and I am trying my best. But anyway, B-roll. The main point of the B-roll is to capture enough footage so that I can overlay it on the parts of the video where I use voiceover. Now I think the voiceover in my video is very important, and that is because it basically cuts up a load of bits of video of me standing next to my car into smaller, manageable chunks. If I didn't have the voiceover in there, it'd just be 5 minutes of me stood next to my car, and yes, I move the camera around, but I think the voiceover sections with the B-roll break it up and they provide nice transitions from one point to another. I do also use voiceover to try and for when I need to get across facts and information that is hard to remember. So for example, if I'm talking about the engine of a car, I will probably do that in voiceover just so I can make sure I get everything absolutely correct. So as well as having enough B-roll to cover my voiceover, I also try to capture clips of things that I know I talk about in the video. So for example, if I know I'm going to mention the wheels, I'll then get a clip of the wheels, and during editing I'll put that clip over that section of the video, and that just makes sense. I think as a viewer it's kind of what you've come to expect these days, and it is quite a simple editing technique. It's called writing to words, I think, but then it's kind of in reverse in this instance. But yeah, if I know I'm going to talk about something, I'll get a clip of it so I can overlay it during post-production. So after doing the B-roll bit of the video, it'll then be time for me to chuck some little GoPros up in my car and go and get the driving impressions section of the video done, and then after that it's pretty much done bar the editing. Now one thing I do just want to quickly say is that depending on the car or the video it is I'm doing, in most cases what I'm about to talk about refers to a review which features a manufacturer's car, I do split the filming up into 2 days. And the reason for that is because it can be a little bit stressful to try and do it all in one day, especially as I'm a one-man band. I know I keep going on about that. Oh, my t-shirt's just fallen down. Yeah, basically if I've got to film the review, the driving impressions, the B-roll, etc., the drive-bys in one day, I find it a little bit too much. So what I do is I split those filming things up into 2 days. So how will that work? Well, on one day I'll tend to go and get the B-roll and the drive-bys and sometimes even the driving impressions, and then on the second day I will just go and do my bits to camera, which you will see examples of in this video. So yeah, that's kind of the process. I'm not going to go into the editing because that kind of just happens, and I don't really want to get into detail with that because I'll probably tell you all the wrong techniques, etc. But yeah, I know this video hasn't been about cars. I just thought it'd be interesting, and as I said at the start of the video, it's good for me to get used to talking to the camera again. It's been a little while since I've done it regularly, and I know I need to brush up on my skills, as I do have some stuff lined up, or hopefully I'll have some stuff lined up, and that'll be coming to the channel very soon. So yes, thank you for watching. I've been Blee. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.